can make it there. I'll make it anywhere. It's up to you, New York, New York.
How we doing, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast here on Facebook Live and YouTube. I am your host, Richie. On today's show, we're going to be speaking about the amazing Shohei Ohtani. Just something truly incredible that Ohtani accomplished yesterday. And I think a logical argument can be made that this may very well be the greatest playoff performance in the history of modern baseball. Shohei took the bump, pitched over 6 strong innings, basically leaving it to his bullpen to only have to record the final outs of the game. Pitches over half the outs of a game. Hits 3 home runs, so he's responsible for 3 of the 5 RBIs that the Dodgers had, and he held the Brewers to only 1 run. And most importantly, no, it's not hitting a home run out of Chavez Ravine. That was pretty awesome. He literally hit a baseball out of the entire stadium. That was pretty cool. Majestic, majestic shot. Something that you see once every 25, 30 years maybe. But he sends the Dodgers to the World Series for a second consecutive year. Just something that is truly, truly remarkable what Shohei Ohtani accomplished yesterday. And the Dodgers will be waiting for the winner of the Seattle Mariners and Toronto Blue Jays. Seattle did finally become the home team that won a game in that series, as the previous 4 games were won by the visitor. So Seattle takes a 3-2 lead north of the border, and something tells me that that series is going 7, the complete opposite of what the Dodgers and Brewers had going. All I can really say to Milwaukee Brewers fans is, please don't have your head down. You had a phenomenal season. You had the best record in Major League Baseball, but you ran into the quintessential buzzsaw, and that's what the Los Angeles Dodgers are. Truly a remarkable performance, not just in that series, but in these playoffs by the Dodgers, as they only have 1 loss in these playoffs, which is going to go down, if they win it, as one of the overall best World Series winning teams. And, you know, no team in Major League Baseball won 100 games this year, which, to my recollection, is the first time since 2014. But the Dodgers just head and shoulders ahead of the rest. And there were some question marks going into these playoffs for the Dodgers. Would their bullpen hold up? Did they have enough depth there? Were they the same team that they were last year? Because at times this year, it looked rather uncertain. Ohtani himself has not had the greatest playoffs. He's had moments, but yesterday certifies why he is that dude. And I do think that, I'm a Yankee fan, mind you, so I'm going to be completely unbiased here. But I believe that Ohtani has to, on some metric, have a leg over Babe Ruth. We all know that Ruth was quite the pitcher. We're not going to question his home run metrics or what he did for the game of baseball. He is the first bona fide superstar in Major League Baseball. And he was the home run king for a very long time. 714 for the career, which was later broken by Hank Aaron, which was later broken by Barry Bonds. Bonds doesn't get the same affection for doing it because of the Balco scandal, but nonetheless, this is historic. The difference between Ohtani and the Babe, to put it bluntly, is that they didn't do it at the same time. The Babe was a pitcher. Then the Babe became a bona fide offensive star with the New York Yankees, as the Red Sox famously sold Babe Ruth to the New York Yankees, which started an 86-year curse, 1918, which was finally broken up in 2004, as the '04 Red Sox became the first team in the history of baseball to overcome a 3-0 deficit in a series, ultimately winning 4 consecutive games, culminating in them celebrating in Yankee Stadium. The previous year, they had their hearts ripped out when Grady Little was convinced by Pedro Martinez that he was not coming out of the game. Pedro imploded, and then the late, great Tim Wakefield later in the game served up the game-winning home run to current Yankee manager Aaron Boone. But the point is that the loss of the Babe shifted the narratives of 2 of the most famous organizations in all of Major League Baseball. And by Shohei Ohtani leaving the other LA team, the Angels, and coming to the Dodgers, his star will never be brighter. The Dodgers have limitless resources, and this is a team that can be the first since the 2000 Yankees to go back to back. And believe me, if that happens, don't think for a second that the 99 Yankees to go back to back and setting them up for a potential three-peat that was last done by the 2000 Yankees. This is just remarkable what is going on right now. The Dodgers are in a position where they themselves are changing the narrative about themselves, because for years it was they're great, but they're never good enough. Don Mattingly managed them for a while. After Joe Torre, they were close, but never close enough, never quite there. They win a pandemic World Series, which was only a 60-game season. A lot of people said that was diluted and watered down in a big way, which in a lot of ways it was. But at the end of the day, they still won it. They finally got some due respect last year when they beat a very strong Yankee team in 5 games. And right now, just mowing through the National League contenders at the level that they have, you have to give them all the credit in the world. But, I'm a big Aaron Judge fan, and I am in complete support of Aaron Judge winning the MVP. I think it's the right way that the voters see it. But Shohei Ohtani, in terms of his diversified skill set, may very well be the best player in Major League Baseball, not just for right now, but the most diversified skill set in the history that the game will ever see. Because like I said, what the Babe did in his era was remarkable, being a pitcher that was damn good and then becoming the most prolific home run hitter the game has ever seen. But for Ohtani to be a 50-50 man a year ago, 50 steals, 50 homers, to be a frontline pitcher in Major League Baseball and always be among the best home run hitters in Major League Baseball puts him a peg above the Babe. And this is a Yankee fan saying this. I am being completely unbiased. Dodgers look like they are truly on a mission. And I guess the question to the viewers is, out of Toronto and Seattle, who truly matches up better with this phenomenal Dodgers team? I personally think it's the Blue Jays, because I think the Blue Jays have the offense to hang with the Dodgers. We all know about Seattle's pitching, but I question if Seattle has the offensive firepower to beat the Dodgers. I have mixed emotions about who I want to win the American League, for the sheer fact that I want Don Mattingly to have a taste of a World Series. But when I consider the way the Blue Jays behaved and acted after eliminating my favorite team, the New York Yankees, I'm not going to have a broken heart, so to speak, if the Blue Jays don't get there, if the Blue Jays don't win this thing outright. After all, they are a division rival. But my prediction for the Blue Jays and Mariners is that it will go 7. And I think game 7 is going to provide us with some of the best dramatic stuff we've seen in these playoffs. And I expect it to be really intense. Game 7s in baseball are something different. Shifting gears for just a moment, very interesting what we got going on in the NFL with some comments from Nick Bonetto. Definitely some bulletin board material for the New York Giants. I like the way Cam Scatabo kind of handled things. He said, if they scheme for me and they take me out of the game plan, other guys are going to step up and be able to make plays. So that is a very mature answer for a very young player. And I think this interconference matchup tomorrow is going to be a good one. I think it sets the stage up for some really exciting stuff. As the Dallas Cowboys go, CeeDee Lamb will be returning tomorrow along with Cavante Turpin, and they could not return at a better time. And I'm expecting some big fireworks in that age-old NFC East rivalry between the Dallas Cowboys and Washington Commanders. People always ask me, as a Giant fan, who's your true rival? And although the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants have a great deal of history, I always say it's the Philadelphia Eagles because it's the second oldest rivalry in football, and also because the Cowboys and the former Redskins, they are naturally, even if you go back to film, let alone on the field, are supposed to be the most natural of rivals. But I think the NFC East has got a lot of cool storylines cooking. And the only thing that would have made it better is if a healthy Carson Wentz was playing this week for the Minnesota Vikings, as he, of course, was injured and replaced in the Super Bowl by Nick Foles. They went on that run without Carson Wentz, although he is a huge reason as to why they won, similar to Sims and Hostetler in 1990 for the G-Men. Of course, the Eagles won their first Super Bowl with a backup quarterback. Wentz was deemed expendable after that, and he has kicked around predominantly as a backup since, but was playing pretty good with the Minnesota Vikings prior to his injury. So the Eagles will get a look at J.J. McCarthy, who's only making his third career start. So I expect that to be a pretty good football game going forward. I think the NFC East has a lot of juice for Sunday. I'm also very much looking forward to the Chargers and the Colts. Chargers and Colts are going to be a really good football game as well. So action-packed Sunday coming in the NFL. Going to be a good week of football. Mike Evans looks like he probably will be returning for the Tampa Bay Bucks on the Monday night game against the Detroit Lions. That, too, is going to be interesting. And we have the Mike Vrabel comeback game as he formerly coached the Tennessee Titans as the New England Patriots look to jump to first place in the AFC East. Plenty of storylines galore, a lot of parity going on in the NFL, and it's going to be a fun Sunday. If you want to revisit my Week 7 preview, all my picks are there in the catalog, and tomorrow morning I will be dropping them on my socials. Have a great day, everyone. I hope you enjoy the remainder of these baseball playoffs and announcements to come for our next show, NBA on Deck. Let's go, Knicks. We out.